I'm going to introduce to you the Director of American Legion Mountaineer Boys State, Mr. Robbie Robinson.
Good evening, guys. We're going to have a special ceremony tonight. We have a very special guest with us tonight. And without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to your class and the commander of the ceremony tonight. Come on up, guys. Just start off, okay? Hello. At the bottom? Woo! Okay.
Attention to orders. We are gathered here for an important patriotic and solemn purpose. Here to witness the presentation of the flag of our country, Old Glory, the Stars and Stripes, our flag, to West Virginia University by American Legion Mountaineer Boys State, class of 2024. Sergeant at Arms, post the flag to be presented in front of this gathering.
Detail and hut. Present arms. Forward. Arch. Detail. Halt. Right. Face. Left. Face. Forward. Arch.
Let us stand for the invocation.
Let us pray. Most gracious Father of us all, from whom comes all health and blessings, look upon us gathered here, and with thy favor direct us in all our action. Grant to us vigilant hearts, give us minds to know thee. We ask that you place your hand on all here, and cross our nation, and let this flag fly free in your name. Amen.
Amen. We will now have a reading of Your Flag and My Flag by Wilbur D. Nesbitt. You may be seated. Your flag and my flag, and how it flies today, in your land and my land, and half a world away. Rose red and blood red, the stripes forever gleam, snow white and soul white, the good forefathers' dream. Sky blue and true blue, with stars to gleam aright, the gloried guidon of the day, a shelter through the night. We are here to present a flag to West Virginia University. This university shows true Americanism and is a great supporter of the American Legion Mountaineer Boys State. They are always ready to help and work with our program. The American Legion Mountaineer Boys State class of 2024 will present the new flag. The flag will be presented by Governor Dawson. Sergeant at Arms, retrieve the flag. It is a great privilege and pleasure to have the honor of presenting this beautiful symbol of our country, the flag of the United States of America, the Stars and Stripes, to President Gee. On behalf of the American Legion Mountaineer Boys State class of 2024, May it always fly over our land, representing a government instituted by our founding fathers that will always champion freedom and justice. It is with honor and pride that this beautiful flag of the great state of West Virginia is also presented to President Gee. On behalf of the American Legion Mountaineer Boy State, class of 2024, may it ever remind you of her rolling hills, flowing rivers, majestic mountains, and that mountaineers are always free. In honor of what we have witnessed here today, we will now honor America by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Afterwards, please remain standing for the playing and singing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Flag of our nation flying tomorrow, and long may it wave. We will now have our benediction.
Gentlemen, let us pray. Almighty God, leader over all, bless and consecrate this gathering. We thank you for our country, its flag, and the liberty for which it stands, one nation under you. May you grant us peace and freedom as we live, for God and country. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Gentlemen, it is my honor and distinct privilege this evening to introduce to you our special guest, Western University President E. Gordon Gee. In the history of higher education in America, President Gee holds a niche position. And I think he would agree with me that in the history not only of West Virginia University, but higher education at large in the United States, he looms large, larger than life, in fact. Upon becoming the dean of the Western University School of Law in 1979, the history started to unfold. At the age of 37, he became the youngest university president in Western University's history. After leaving WVU, he then went on to become president at Brown University. Later, Vanderbilt University, the University of Colorado, Ohio State, more than once. And finally, back home to West Virginia University. A true and unique leader at these institutions. He not only approaches the job with a sense of responsibility, but also personality and personal responsibility for those students and the student life of the university. Always an animated and engaging speaker, I present to you West Virginia University President E. Gordon Gee.
Thank you very much. Let me just let me turn this thing on if I can. Okay. Forgot to do it on my way up. Now, can you hear me? Well, thank you very much. You know, that's exactly the way I wrote that speech, by the way. It was very good. As a matter of fact, how are you all doing? Come on. Is this your second day? Yeah. So, and you're already very animated. So it's great to see all of you. I really am so grateful to be here with you. This is one of my favorite things that I do, which is to come to speak to Boys State. And thank you, Robbie. Thanks for wherever Robbie is. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. Every year is something that I really want to do. I'm heading up early in the morning to Boston, and I wanted to make certain I could be here with all of you this evening because of the fact that I travel all over the world. I have been to so many different places. And this, as you just heard, is my second time in West Virginia. And now a lot of what I try to do is I try to not only be part of a great university, but what I also try to do is to make certain that people know and understand what West Virginia is about. And we've been out selling the state, bringing businesses in, doing a variety of things. We have built a great medical center. We have bought 25 hospitals, all of those kind of things. But the one thing that I can tell you that I always tell folks when we talk about West Virginia is about you. You know, our young people are the future of this state. And one of the goals that we have, of course, is to keep all of you here and keep you happy. In fact, I joke about the fact that sometimes we're going to build a wall around West Virginia and have Ohio pay for it. But whatever it is great to be here, but you're our future. And that's the reason I think that Boys State is so important and so incredibly critical to what you're about. And you're going to learn a lot, Mr. Governor, wherever you are. I saw him right there. You are right back there. So thank you very much for letting me be here. And I know that they're running now for the new governor and whoever is going to win. You're going to have a great experience in that regard also. So let me just tell you a couple of things. First of all, I really like to have you ask me questions rather than me talk to you for a long period of time because, you know, I learn a lot more from the questions you ask me than from what I have. From what I'm going to tell you, but let me just tell you a couple of things. First of all, as you know, some of the country's greatest thinkers, politicians, athletes, celebrities were once participants of Boys State. I'm not certain if you know that. You may have heard of some: Jerry West, Neil Armstrong, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jordan, and there's even a university president who was one. That's me, as a matter of fact. At one point in my life, a long, long time ago, I was in Boys State just like you. So I'm here to tell you this. You could someday venture into space, as did Neil Armstrong, or you could crank out platinum albums, as did Bruce Springsteen, or you could win multiple sports championships, certainly as Jerry West did, who probably still ranks as the best basketball player ever to have played the game. But you might also settle for being a university president, which is not a bad gig either, I can tell you that. So anyway, one of the things I wanted to tell you about is that being a university president is very interesting. I thought I would read a couple of notes too, if that's all right. I get all these notes all the time, and so this is just a note that came to me from you can see it right here. This is a note that came to me not long ago because we're out recruiting students all the time, and I was speaking to a group of students And I said, you know something, what we're going to do for our university is we're going to take it from excellence to eminence. And they were all thinking about that. And then I got this note. Dear President Gee, I am a senior in high school and I'm trying to decide between Penn State and West Virginia University for college. Now I know. When I heard you speak recently, I was very impressed with your message about moving West Virginia University from excellence to impotence. Come on, guys, can't you? Yeah. There you go. There you go. Well, that guy's going to Penn State. Yeah, as a matter of fact. And then this is the one that I really enjoyed. So this one occurred in this past spring. It says, this comes from Steve. It says, Dear President Gee, I am planning a spring break trip with my best friend from the University of Cincinnati, and we have enlisted 6 female cheerleaders to join us for the whole week in sunny Miami. But when we went to book flights, you can imagine my disappointment to find out that our colleges have conflicting spring break schedules. So I'm writing to ask you if you could push West Virginia University spring break back a week. You are the only one with the power to help make a 19-year-old man's dream come true of a half dozen girls in a remote beach house 1,200 miles away. Of course, so what I loved about this letter is Steve said, of course, if you help out, you're more than welcome to join us. So I had a hell of a good time. It was fun. So anyway, so one of the things I know, I'm 5'5" and I weigh 145 pounds, but I co-chair the college football playoff. So this is the determination of where we're all going to play for the national championship and so forth. And can you believe it? I mean, do I look like I know a darn thing about football? I don't. But one of the things we decided to do is expand the college football from 4 teams to 12 teams. And we're just in the process of making that happen. So not a lot of people agreed with that decision. So I thought I'd give you a couple of examples. This letter came to me. It says, Dear Dr. Gies, per your decision to expand the college football playoff, you need to have your head examined by a proctologist. The next email was equally direct. May the spray of 1,000,000 polecats descend upon your office and linger there for eternity. Then this one, I received a letter. It said, Ray, West Virginia University Athletics and the college football playoff. Dear Dr. Gee, you are an idiot. But this is the one I really liked. For doing your part in ruining college football for legions of fans, you suck. And here's my response. So I got this note about 9:30. Here's my response about 9:45. Dear Brian, I have just received this email supposedly from you. Someone must have your email account, which you should check. To which we replied, Dear President Gee, all of a sudden I'm no longer an idiot. Dear President Gee, I had no idea you actually read your emails. Please do not withhold my diploma. It was one of my students. So he's also graduating from Penn State. So anyway, what I want to do tonight is I want to tell you a little bit about talk a little bit about leadership, if I can. And I'm going to do it from the point of view of the mistakes that I've made. This is my 45th year as university president, and actually I'm scheduled to retire next year, so I'm still trying to think about all the things that I've learned. But one of the things that I can tell you is that you can celebrate your successes. You can always celebrate your successes, but the truth of the matter is what you're going to learn is you're going to learn from your mistakes. And I want you all to have enough self-confidence and enough ability to be able to look at yourself and think about it, because the mistakes you make are going to be the ones that define you in life. So I'll tell you a few of my mistakes and how they've been effective for leadership for me. So the first one was the fact that I made a mistake becoming a university president. And you can say, well, that's really dumb. I mean, you've been doing this for 45 years, you've been at great institutions. But the reason I say that is the fact that I was too young. I really didn't know how to do what I was doing. I was just engaged, and for whatever the good Lord did, I got this opportunity all of a sudden. But what happened, of course, was the fact that I missed kind of the middle part of my life. I had a 3-year-old daughter when I became a university president. I really wish that I'd had more of a chance to spend time with her. Her mother died. My wife died when she was 15, and so I became mother and father. But what I say to you is, don't be too ambitious too early. Let me just say that again. Do not be too ambitious too early. I mean, all of you know that you have greatness in front of you. Everyone here has greatness in front of them. There are as many geniuses and many Nobel laureates in West Virginia as there are anywhere else. You have greatness in front of you, but don't get too anxious too early. The second thing that I can say to you is that I think that what you have to do is you have to learn to take what you do seriously, but not to take yourself too seriously. How many do you know people, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but all of you know people that when they get positions of power or when they move along, then all of a sudden they become different people. They become sort of full of themselves, right? Yeah, and you all know that. Well, that's wrong. That's a mistake. Because what you need to do is you need to accept that responsibility, but if you take yourself too seriously, you will lose your ability to be able to lead. And I think that is very, very important to know. The third thing that I think about in terms of leadership was the fact that, as you heard, I became university president at a very young age. And I did not know how to run university. In fact, I probably couldn't even spell university when I became a university president. I mean, I was not doing well. And, they had, the faculty was mad at me, the students were irritated with me, the alumni were not very happy with me. And so about 4 or 5 months into my presidency, these 2 old guys came to see me. I thought they were old. They were probably about 40, but I thought they were old, And they sat down. They said, "Mr. President, you're doing a terrible job." And I said, "Why do you think that is?" They said, "Well, you wear bow ties, you wear Argyle socks, you go out very late at night with the students, you do all these kind of crazy things." And they said, "You got to be more dignified. You got to act like a university president." Now, I don't know what a university president is supposed to act like, but I did think about my university president, who was a tall, gray-haired, gravelly-voiced guy, very distinguished, and that was not me. So I decided, well, that's what I have to do. I've got to become a little bit more. Dignified, and so I started wearing 3-piece suits, long ties, and tried to be a little bit more standoffish. And guess what happened? First of all, I was still failing. I just was not doing very well. And the second thing was I was miserable. I just was miserable. And so I woke up one morning and I said, "You know something? If I'm going to do this and I'm going to fail having fun." And so here it is 45 years later. I'm still a university president, and those guys are dead. And the reason I tell that story is the fact that you cannot let other people define who you are. In the social media world with TikTok and with Instagram and everything else, people try to define who you are. And by doing that, what they do is they really turn you into a shadow of yourself. Every one of us have God-given talents. We have deficits and we have strengths. Play to those. Play to those strengths. And find people in your life who fill your gaps, and make certain you do that. So that, to me, is immensely important. So the 3 ingredients for success in leadership are these. If I leave you with one thing, I want you to remember these. First of all, is you have to have a very thick skin. Let me say that again. You have to have a very thick skin. Secondly of all, you have to have a good sense of humor. And third, you have to have nerves like sewer pipes. With the thick skin, everyone's going to be criticized. I tell you something. When I first got criticized, when I became university president, I was so mortified. I went home and went to bed. I mean, it was horrible. And now, every day, I get sort of a public colonoscopy from the press or something. I mean, it is horrible. But yet, what you do is you need to understand that if you're going to lead, you're going to take incoming fire. You're going to be in a position in which other people know how to do your job better than you do, and they'll tell you about it. But you have to remember that you have more facts than they do. So just remember, you have to have a thick skin. I always believe that having a good sense of humor is a saving grace. I'll tell a couple of University of Colorado stories. So Colorado was playing was playing Nebraska in a great football game in 1989. Colorado had not beaten Nebraska in 20 years. And so I was speaking, but Nebraska was ranked number 1 and Colorado was ranked number 2. And so I was speaking to a gathered group of alumni in Colorado Springs, and I got up and I cracked a joke. I said, you know what, I know what the N on the Nebraska helmet stands for, which is knowledge, and that you know, Nebraska football players are not dumb. They just have printed on their shoes, toes first on their helmet, this end up. I thought it was kind of funny. But the truth of the matter is that it was reprinted in the newspaper, and then it was printed in the Lincoln, Nebraska Star-Times, and I discovered 2 things. One is Nebraskans love their football team, and 2, they have no sense of humor. They did not think it was funny at all. So you gotta maintain your humor. The third thing, the nerves like sewer pipes. So the second time I was president of Ohio State. So I was president of Ohio State from 90 to 97, then 2007 to 2014. Second time I was there, right in front of my office, I came out one day and they had dug a big trench. And I said, well, what are you guys doing? They said, well, we need to replace the sewer pipes. And I said, well, why? And they said, well, these are really good. They've been good for 100 years, but they're just not big enough. And so I said, well, okay, but in that 100 years, they had never been given any problem, or they had not given the university any problem. And so I think of decision making the same way. So when I became president of the University of Colorado, I was standing before the press, and I asked the chairman of the board, I said, Mr. Chairman, what do you want me to say? And I thought he was going to say, you're going to win Nobel Prizes, you're going to write the great American novel, or whatever. I thought, you're going to build a great university. Instead, he said, tell them you're going to fire the damn football coach. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, you know, I'm only 40 years old, and I've only been here for a few days. How can I possibly do that? And in the meantime, University of Colorado had a football coach by the name of Bill McCartney, who was statistically the worst football coach in America. He'd gone 3 years in a row, 1-10. Can you believe that? And so I knew that I had to do something about this. So about 6 weeks later, this is 1985. This is just when ESPN had started. So they had television cameras there. The New York Times was there. The Washington Post was there. All the major sports media were there. And they knew I was going to fire him because I'd called him in. And so I called him in, and he sat down. Now, 2 things you have to know about Bill McCartney. One is the fact that he is very charismatic. I mean, he could convince anyone of anything. And secondly of all, he was very religious. He was a charismatic Catholic. And so he said, Mr. President, he sat down, he said, Mr. President, I know you're going to fire me, but before you do, let me tell you about our football team. And he spent 45 minutes mesmerizing me. We're going to run the veer offense, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And so I went out in front of all the cameras and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce that I've just extended Coach McCartney's contract for 5 years. I mean, all hell broke loose. It was terrible. The board of governors of the university met the next day in secret session to fire me, but I'd only been there 6 weeks. So they couldn't figure out quite how to do it. So I knew that with McCartney, I was either going to have to fire him or I was going to have to stick with him. And I decided that I really believed that he was going to turn that team around. So I went to every home football game and every away football game. I stood on the sideline. I carried his headset. And I did everything I possibly could because I knew if he did not turn the football program around, he was gone and I was gone. We were both gone. And by the way, just as a point, I received over 8,000 letters about my decision. This is before email. About over 8,000 letters about my decision, 2 of them in favor. One probably was from his wife and the other was from his daughter. I have no idea. But anyway, so here we are. I went to every game, and by the way, to show how religious he was, these kids would run off the field and they say, Coach, my arm is broken. He put his hand on their head and say, you're healed, and send them back. It was a little strange. But anyway, at the end of that season, we went 7-4, one of the great turnarounds in college football. And so Coach McCartney saved my life. or my job, not my life, but my job. But the interesting thing is that 5 years later, we played Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl, and we won the national championship. And that I tell that story because I had enough nerves to believe in what the decision was that I had made. Now, I think that that's important for all of you because, you know, you're going to be called upon to make a lot of decisions. And let me tell you something. What you're going to discover is the fact that these are tough decisions. But what you will do is you need to know this. You will have more information than anyone else. So when you make a decision, stick with the decision you made. But remember that you will have more information than anyone else. So those are the ingredients, I believe, for success in terms of leadership. You know, a sense of humor, certainly a thick skin, nerves like sewer pipes. Remember to make certain that you take good care of yourself, not be too ambitious too early. The final thing I'll just say to you, and then I'm going to open myself up for questions. The final thing that I'll say to you is there is nothing more important than family. There is nothing more important than taking care of yourself. You know, you can work so hard that you lose a real sense of your community and your family. And I think about this. So my wife, I told you, died when my daughter was 15. She died of cancer. And I still remember this as one of the sorriest days of my life because the night before she died, I gave a speech to an alumni group in Dayton, Ohio. I should have been with her. So I want all of you to remember there's no substitute for good homes and good families and good churches and good communities and good synagogues. So please remember that. Saying that, I'm open for questions. I want to hear. Yes, sir. Right out back there. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Bill Miller from Berkeley County.
Yeah.
If you weren't doing a good job at your first college, how did you get an opportunity to be president?
Well, because I recovered. You know, the point is the fact that, so I just kept working at it. And remember what I said was that what I decided to do was I decided to be myself rather than letting other people define me. And the minute that I did that, I started having more success. And by the way, I've never interviewed for another job. They recruited me to Colorado. They recruited me to Ohio State. They recruited me to Brown. They recruited me to Vanderbilt. They recruited me back to Ohio State. I actually retired from Ohio State. I was teaching at Harvard University when they called up and asked me to come back to West Virginia, and I couldn't wait. I said I'll be there on Monday, and that's exactly what I did. So I think that the lesson I learned from that is the fact that, yeah, be confident in yourself, but don't have other people define you. I was letting other people define me, and I think that was a mistake. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
I'm Jamie from McDowell County.
Hi.
And after going to all those different colleges, what made you decide you wanted to come back?
That's a great question. What made me decide I wanted to come back to West Virginia? Well, so my daughter was 3 when I became president of the university, and to this day, my daughter is a surgeon, wonderful leader. She's done great things in the world, but she still says whenever anyone asks her where she's from, she says, "I'm from West Virginia." I've always felt that West Virginia was my home because I think you love the people the most who loved you first. And there's a great deal of compassion and responsibility and grit and determination. And people in West Virginia have a humility about them, which I really like. Sometimes we're too humble. Sometimes we don't tout our assets enough. Sometimes we don't tell people our story. Sometimes we let other people define us. But I think that characteristic of being a place that I have always felt so immensely comfortable and at home. I grew up in Vernal, Utah, a little small town on the eastern part of the state, and I get asked this question all the time. Where did you grow up? And I'd say, well, where do you think I grew up? Where you been president of big universities? You grew up in Los Angeles or New York or something? I grew up in a town smaller than Welch, West Virginia. And we had no television because we didn't. It just didn't come to our place. We had no, we had no movie theater. I joke about the fact that we had a library and I read all 4 of the books. But I think that the point is the fact that you can come from small communities and do great things, but you can also know that small communities make great people. And that's West Virginia to me, as a matter of fact. Questions? Yes, sir.
My name is Jason Hodgman from Putnam County.
Putnam? Okay, great.
If someone is considering going to WVU, what would you say to try and convince them to choose WVU over another college?
Well, you know, I think that that's a great question. You know, I'll tell you three things. First of all, West Virginia University is a world-class institution, not just a good one, a world-class institution. There are 4,500 universities in this country. And no, I haven't been president of all of them, but I've been president of a lot of them. And most of them most of the institutions I've been at are among the very best in the nation. And West Virginia ranks in that regard. Of those 4,500, there are 130 that are called R1 institutions. And these are the major research universities. These universities do about 85% of the basic research done in this country. And we're one of those. We're the only one, obviously, in the state. We're one of the very few in the nation. And one of the things that to me is very interesting is the fact that we really are doing really wonderful things. We lead the world in terms of research on Alzheimer's and on addiction. We have two faculty members. In fact, their son is an incoming freshman who won the Shaw Prize, which is the Nobel Prize for astrophysics, because they discovered two things. They discovered the small radio bursts, and they discovered gravitational waves, which really are the final two components of the proof of the theory of relativity. Rare earth elements. 95% of the rare earth elements in the world come from China. And we have just discovered a way to extract rare earth elements out of coal slurry, which will be a huge boon to this national security issue. And rare earth elements are all the things you have to have for your telephone or your computer. And if China cuts us off, we're going to go back into being a fourth world power, and I think that that's important. So that's number one. Number two is the fact that we're just the right size. We're big enough to have everything. We have 330 different academic programs, but yet we're small enough to be able to give you all of the opportunities you have, whether it's whether it's our honors program, a variety of other things. We have students from 55 counties, from 50 states, 120 countries. We speak 100 and we speak about 100 different languages. So it's a very international institution, and the world comes to West Virginia through the university. We're the largest employer in the state. We provide health care for almost every West Virginian. We have about 25 hospitals. So if you're interested in really a comprehensive institution that really cares deeply about people, there's none that compares with it. Out of all the institutions that I've served, I think that we are the best in terms of our undergraduate programming, and I'm very happy about that. Questions? Hi, right over here.
Corey Warren from Hancock County.
Hancock County?
Yes.
Great.
What was your backup plan if university president didn't work out for you?
What was my backup plan? I'm a lawyer by training. I would probably have gone. I would have probably maintained teaching. I was the dean of a law school, and so my intent was never to be a university president. I was a total accident. The president of the university, West Virginia University, left to go to be the chancellor of the University of Kansas. And I woke up one morning and they made me president. I mean, it was a huge mistake on their part probably, but I had no intent on doing that. But I'm a law professor by training. I'm a lawyer by avocation and by training, and I love the law, and so that's what I will probably continue to do. Yes, sir. Right next to him. From Putnam County, great.
How did you know how to run or be a president of a university without any prior training?
I didn't. That was the whole story, is the fact that I learned on the job, and that's the reason I said, by the way, that it was a mistake, because I should have gotten more training and moved into the job. You can be too ambitious too early. That was me. I thought, oh, this is wonderful. I'm 36. I can be a university president. Well, that was not what I should have done. So that's the reason I say to you, make a pathway for yourself, but make certain you do well what you're doing now. You know, so many people in today's world, by the way, they'll say, hey, look, you know, I want to be X, and so they start looking at X, and they don't do well what they're doing now. And so you never get to next if you don't do well what you're doing now. And I'm a prime example of that. When I was too ambitious, I really was not doing well. The minute that I settled into doing well what I'm doing now, I had a much different life. Questions? Yes, right here. From where?
Preston.
Yeah, my neighbor.
Just wondering, why did you be the president of so many different colleges and not just stick to like one or two?
Yeah, that's a great question. Did you hear that? Why am I the president of so many institutions? Well, first of all, I just got out ahead of the sheriff, you know. No, just kidding. But I think that you know, the normal tenure of a university president right now is about 4 years. And the reason for that is the fact that it's a very tough job. In fact, Barron's Fortune magazine did a survey of Fortune 500 company presidents, CEOs of big companies in this country, and they said, apart from the presidency of the United States, what is the most difficult job in America? And they concluded that it was being the president of a large public university, which I've been for a long time. I was the president of 2 private institutions. Brown is an Ivy League institution, and Vanderbilt is a private institution. But I think that because I came at it so young, and because of the fact that I really got into a rhythm, and because of the fact that I was recruited at different places. And remember, I've come back to 2 institutions twice, and the reason for that was the fact that I learned a lot when I was there the first time, and I wanted to overcome some of the mistakes that I'd made and try to come back and help them out. But it's been a great life. 45 years is a long time. Questions? Hi, there you are, right there.
Morning, staff school of Jefferson County. When you were a high schooler, what extracurricular event aided you the most in your career?
I'm an Eagle Scout. And I've always felt that being an Eagle Scout was perhaps one of the best things in the world. I loved 4-H. This is, of course, 4-H. I loved being an Eagle Scout. I loved being in the band. I was there. I was the president of my undergraduate student government. I was the president of my high school, and but also the president of my undergraduate student government. All those have been a great experience. But I always say that I think being an Eagle Scout was the most important thing that formed at least the way that I look at the world. Are you an Eagle?
My border review as well as that is remaining, sir.
Let me know. I'll try to come to your thing. Where are you located?
Jefferson County, Troop 42, Charlestown.
Yeah, send me a note, would you please? If I can get there, I'll get there. Hi, back here, okay?
I'm Josh Love from Harrison County. And my question is, being the president and with such a busy schedule, what drives you to be so involved with the student life, even when it's seen as unorthodox by others?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I think that so we have 30,000 students. At Ohio State, I had 65,000 students, and I think that people think of university presidents as being austere, standoffish, and most of them are, by the way. I actually don't think a lot of the people in my business like students. They prefer to do other things, but I tend to believe that 2 things. One, I want to put students first. I believe that students are the reason that we have universities. And secondly of all, I want students to know that I care about them. So I got, right there, Azim, raise your hand. Azim is right there. Azim is with me this year. Azim graduated last year. Azim was a Truman Scholar, a Rhodes Scholar finalist from Charleston, went to George Washington. But how I got to know Azim was the fact that I would call him up and say, Azim, let's go out late at night. And he and I would go out to parties and a variety of other things. You know what I love to do? I never announce what I'm going to do. I go to 21st birthday parties. Can you imagine showing up to a 21st birthday party? Oh, it was, I tell the story about the fact that last spring, Brittany was having a 21st birthday party. And so I show up, I had a couple of freshmen in tow with me, and we knock on the door about 12:30 at night, and she opens up the door, and she looks at me, and I look at her, and we both scream. It was a toga party. Oh my heck. She slammed the door. Oh my hell, it's the university president. People running out the back of the door. People were throwing stuff out the window. I said, no, I'm here to have a good time. And and I just think that being engaged with students is also the most enjoyable thing that I do. I really enjoy it, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. Questions? I get a couple more questions here. Yes, sir. I sure will. Where are you going to school, friend?
I'm undecided, maybe Ohio State. I live in Morgantown.
Oh, do you really? Well, you need to come and be with me. I call myself a Buccaneer, a Buckeye and a Mountaineer. You know how that is. Great. So, right back here.
My name is Mountaineer, and I'm from Harrison County. Was there ever a point in your career when you thought about giving up, and what did you do to keep yourself motivated?
I've had times along the way, but you know, my worst days have been better than most people's best days, because I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I enjoy all of you. I mean, you know, what I'm doing right now is manna from heaven for me. It gives me a real opportunity to be able to think about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So I also tell a story that I think that so I was president of these large public universities, West Virginia, Colorado, and Ohio State. But I was also president of two private institutions. And Brown, which was the smallest of the Ivy League institutions, about 6,500 students, and Vanderbilt, which is one of the great institutions in this country. And when I would wake up in the morning at those institutions, I'd say, it's such a privilege. You know, they pay me a lot of money, they have lots of resources, they have everything you want to have. But I could not figure out why I was there. I mean, it was going to run without me. And the thing that I love about waking up in West Virginia and at West Virginia University is I know why I'm here. There are 1.8 million West Virginians, all of whom are seeking a better life, and our university is the key to that. We are the economic, social, and cultural engine that drives this state. So it's a great calling. One last question. Or, well, two. Here. Hi.
Landon up from Wood County. What would you say like your favorite memory is from West Virginia?
From West Virginia? Oh, I tell you what I love is I love the marching band. You know, people tell me about other things, but I tell you, every time that marching band comes out and then they get in that circle and they play, Simple Gifts. It's just a wonderful. It's always a great memory for me at a football game. And you know, our marching band is one of the few John Philip Sousa marching bands in the country. About every 10 years, the John Philip Sousa organization will give an award to the best marching band in the country. And that's us. And, Ohio State had one, and we had one. I've had two of them. And, in fact, we are the lead band in the Macy's Day Parade this year, if you can think about that. One last question. Yes, sir.
Michael Niggemeier from Taylor County.
Taylor County?
Yeah, Taylor County.
Great.
How do you budget your time being a university president and, all the things you have to do, and you still come to events like this and speak in the community and, influence other people? How do you budget your time?
Well, that's interesting. So Azim can tell you right here, because he's been with me. I have a calendar meeting every Monday, and the people who run my calendar, this is with my assistant and 3 or 4 of the people who work with me. Then they have about a 2-hour meeting on Thursday, and they go through my calendar for the next month or several months, and then they budget my time very carefully. I do not like to have free time. I like to use my time wisely, and so I'm budgeted about every half hour. My time is budgeted, and I've done that for 45 years. And you know something? It makes it so that I feel like that I'm accomplishing something. It's a little exhausting sometimes, but it certainly does work out for me. Appreciate that. Hi, there you go. Hi.
Did you feel bad about firing Bob Huggins, or did you feel like you really needed to?
Well, that's a great question. Did you hear that question about Bob Huggins? So, I've fired 2 iconic coaches. I fired Jim Tressel, who had won the national championship at Ohio State the year after he won the national championship, which was not an easy thing to do. And Coach Huggins is a great coach. He is a Hall of Fame coach, the 3rd winningest coach in this country. And but we all have to live by rules, and I think that's the issue. So with Coach Huggins, and I haven't told this story too often, but I'll just tell it here because you asked. So Coach Huggins did some inappropriate things on the radio, and so I called him in. I said, Coach, I said, you know, I'm taking a lot of grief for keeping you on. People wanted me to fire you, but I'm going to give you one more chance. But if you in any way violate the agreement we have, then just consider that your letter of resignation. And about 6 weeks later, he did that. So yeah, I fired him. But that's because we all, there's no one above the law, and there's no one above integrity, and so we need to make that happen. Gentlemen, okay, there you go. They got one more.
Trevor Finney from Harrison County. If it's not too personal, why are you choosing to retire now and later?
Oh, because I'm 81. I'll be 80. I think that at some time I need to have a life. You know, I haven't had and I need to do something different. And you know, I had the energy and the ability to be able to continue to do what I'm doing. But I want to also devote myself to my family and others. But I will continue to be very, very busy. Father Jenkins, who's the president of Notre Dame, is just retiring, and he and I are really working very hard on trying to get college football back in the bottle. That's been our assignment from the NCAA. So that's where I'm going to spend most of my time after this. Okay, come on. I'm having such a good time. Stand up.
My name's Lloyd Beckman. I'm from Marion County.
Marion County, great.
So now that once you do decide to retire, do you have any deciding factor on who the next president of the university would be?
Well, I hope to, no, you know, my role is to make certain that I leave the university in a great shape for the next person. They'll get a great person. I do think this. This is a very special state, and this is a very special university. They need to, the people of West Virginia will love you if you love them back. And that, I think, is the best advice I can give to anyone. I took our new basketball coach out to lunch yesterday, Coach DeVries, and that's what I told him. I said, you know, if the people in the state are going to love you if you love them back, and that's what makes it unique, and I think that's the characteristic of a president. So, everyone, love being here with you. Have a great day, okay? Thank you very much.
Some instructions I'm following from our political process coordinator, who can't be with us this year because he's helping with his mother, who is ill. I am the stand-in political process coordinator. So everybody will have 45 seconds. Each candidate will have 45 seconds to speak. Their time starts as soon as they utter something, make a noise from their, as soon as they make a noise. You know, they come up and clap, time starts. Stomp their feet, time starts. If they say, hey, time starts. 45 seconds. We got Al Hall, the jack of all trades, who's holding up a sign that you can barely see. So I need for him to move up to the chair here. And this is what we'll be doing tomorrow for the party conventions. Each party tomorrow will get 25 minutes to present their platform, their candidates. 25 minutes. And we'll have a timekeeper who will do the same thing. I am to remind the audience, that's everybody here, other than the person speaking, to hold your applause until the last Supreme Court candidate speaks. Can we do that? Yes, sir. Hold your applause. I will say this. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to get up here and speak in front of everyone. So I commend everybody that has put themselves in this position. Let's give them a round of applause. I just ask you to be respectful of each candidate. Hold your applause until the end. I will call each name by saying our next candidate is, and I will announce their name as it appears on the ballot. And after they speak, we will call the next candidate. Our timekeeper is working on the official time card. Do you feel under pressure, Al? No pressure. Al used to play the tuba in the West Virginia University band. I see the 45 in the marker. Yes.
I dropped out of the auditor race during breakfast. I did tell the council I don't know if it's still on there. I just want to make sure I'm not.
I don't know, but we have to run it like it is.
Lucas Harrell, so.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll get called regardless.
What?
Do I get called regardless?
That'll be tomorrow if you win. This is just for the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
So I dropped out of the auditor race. Will I get called at all? Okay. I just want to make sure. All right, thank you.
All right, we're ready to roll, guys. The first, just a reminder, hold all applause till the end, show respect. I recommend when you guys come up here, just take a few seconds to get acclimated. Come up, look around, make sure you see Al, the official timekeeper who's holding up the sign, stop. Stop. I think we start with the 45. There we go. Yeah. Okay, Al, you ready? Okay, Al's ready. Are the candidates ready? Just take your time when you come up. Look around, make sure you see Al. Our first Supreme Court Justice candidate is Cole Whittington. Applause, hold applause till end. Sorry, hold applause till end.
All right, hi everybody, I'm Cole Whittington and I go to Buffalo High School in Putnam County. As I'm sure you all know, the Constitution guarantees that each and every one of us have certain inalienable rights. As one of your Supreme Court justices, I would fight not just for the integrity of our Constitution, but for you as an individual. Former Chief Supreme Court Justice John Marshall once said, "To listen well is as powerful as a means of communication and influence as to talk well. And if I'm elected, I'll make sure every voice is heard. If you want liberty and justice for all, vote Cole Whittington for Supreme Court." Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whittington. All right, even though Al could play the tuba, he could not count, so I'm going to have to provide some remedial instruction. The first sign you show says 4-5. That's 45. The next one is 30. That's the number 30. The one after that is 15, 15. The one after that is 5, which is the number 5. And then the one after that is stop, S-T-O-P. Don't say another word. Our second Supreme Court Justice candidate, you guys did a great job being silent during the speech. Number 2 is Andrew Glowfield, Andrew Glorfield.
All right, lads. Hey, good evening. Hope we're doing well. First things first, I want to make a confession. I flubbed my ballot. I've been tired since I got here. My real name is Glorfield. The ballot will say Glowfield. I'm just exhausted. So, getting to the real speech. Earlier at our caucuses, I saw everyone throwing out ideas, and then someone would respond, and we'd pull off into a 10-minute debate, right? So I know everyone here is smart and dedicated, and we all have ideas. Everyone here is doing their best, and that's what I plan to do if I get elected to Supreme Justice, right? Everyone here is passionate just as much as I hope to be. Thank you all very much. Please remember, I have a time. Stop.
Thank you, Mr. Glorfield. And I will point out, the way I call the name is actually the way it will appear on the ballot. So anything I say after our next candidate that's how it should appear on the ballot. Our number 3 candidate for Supreme Court Justice is Johnny Michaels.
Hello, everyone. I'm Johnny Michaels. I'm from Preston High School, and as your justice, I would uphold the law of the Constitution of the Boy State, the Constitution of West Virginia, and the Constitution of these United States. I am here on your behalf, and I'm running for you as a collective and as a body. Together, we can do anything, and I'm here to support you. I will be unbiased in all of my decisions. Thank you. Remember, vote Johnny Michaels.
Just a reminder for the, 5th time, hold your applause till the end. Thank you very much. Number 4, Hector Zavala.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Hector Zavala, and I'm staying in Randolph Cottage this week. I'm excited for the opportunity to run for Supreme Court for Boy State this week. As a leader, I really hold fast to servant leadership, that is serving others, putting myself first, putting others first, and humility. I believe that this role truly uses those values that I hold, and would be my best fit role here at Boy State. I will protect the Constitution of the United States, Constitution of West Virginia, and the Boy State Constitution to its fullest extent. Not saying that it has changed over time, and I will read it and interpret it as it was originally written. Thank you.
The next candidate is Jayama Goodman Colin Woelfel.
Yeah, that's me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Colin Woelfel. I'm from St. Joseph Catholic High School in Huntington, West Virginia. If I'm being honest, I really have not done much preparation for this speech. But if you will elect me, I will promise you that I will yeah, like I said, I haven't done much preparation, but I will keep the law to the highest power, and I will do everything in my power to respect the court and the state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Caution you to remain silent. I didn't clarify that, but you should remain silent. Hold your applause till the end, at which point you can go as wild as you have ever wanted to be wild. Number 6, Sutphen Orrin Sutphen.
All right, so many of you may know me as Federalist Party Chair.
So because I got that position, I will not be running for Supreme Court Justice. Yeah, even though I had the best advertising. And I had help with that, so I'd like to thank Sean Fagan, who will also be running. And I wish best of luck to my fellow candidates, Space Pants, Matheny, Noble, Luke, to you. Thank you, and good luck.
Number 7, Colin Wyatt.
Hi, I'm Colin Wyatt, and of course I'm running for Supreme Court Justice. I've always had an interest in politics and the law, and the history of law, and I realize that Boise State presents many different opportunities to explore that interest. This job especially is a position that I'm very interested in and very passionate about. If you are to elect me, I will perform my duty to you, to Boise State, and to West Virginia to the best of my ability. Thank you, and vote for Colin Wyatt.
Luke Karpinski, Lucas Karpinski.
Hi, my name is Luke Karpinski. I'm from University High School, which is in Morgantown. I believe you guys should elect me for Supreme Court Justice because I'm committed to upholding the morals of justice and equality for all. I will always listen to the viewpoints of everyone involved in the case and make informed decisions based on the law and the facts provided. Together as a camp, I hope we can ensure that justice is served and that the rights of all individuals are protected. Thank you. Vote Luke Karpinski.
Jacob Avington.
Good evening, gentlemen. I did not come before you today with a prepared speech, but I come to you with a promise. I promise that in the Supreme Court, I will uphold my duties to serve each and every one of you in the highest court of law in this land. I myself plan to pursue law after high school and college. It is a dedication I take very seriously, very passionately, and I promise to serve each and every one of you with my whole heart to my fullest extent, with every ethic of work I have in my body, and that is why I ask for all of your votes tonight. Thank you.
Judy Tyler Garbrick.
Hi, how you doing? They call me Judge Judy for a reason. I'm a shoo-in for this Supreme Court, okay? President Gee just talked about three tenets of leadership, okay? Humor. Those of you who know, I gave out a bunch of Ice Spice passes, if you're familiar. If not, ask about me later. Nerves. I got the nerves to stand up here and talk about Ice Spice. Nobody else does. And thick skin. You could come up to me right now and slap me in the face, and I would ask you to do it again. Because I'm just that willing to take criticism from anybody, okay? I want to listen to the people. I want to do what they want. I want to get the people around me involved in government too. I want to be an impartial judge and work for the people around me. Thank you very much. Do your duty. Vote for Judy.
Luke T.U.
Hello, my name is Luke Tiu. I'm from Wheeling, West Virginia, and I am in the Upshur cabin for the week. And I would appreciate your vote for Supreme Court. So like all of you, I am extremely lucky and gracious to be among the founding citizens of the 51st state of America, the Mountaineer Boys State. And I believe that it is our duty as citizens of this state to protect the tradition, constitution, and rights that we all have in this state. And doing that, we will make sure that this state can thrive for generations. And I stand for God, and I have experience in law and government, so I think I have what it takes. No, I know I have what it takes to serve you here. So remember me in the polls. Thank you.
Noble Miller, Noble Miller.
Hello, everyone. I've had the chance to meet a lot of you. I hope I can have the chance to meet the rest of you as the week goes on. My name is Noble. Nobility is the way I try to lead my life every day. It's the way I try to lead others every day. If you guys honor me with voting me in as Supreme Court Justice, I'll honor you guys with doing it as I do every day with nobility. Thank you.
Smile. Let's be happy. Sean Fagan.
Hello everyone, my name is Sean Fagan. I'm from Maroon Cabin, and I'm running for a Supreme Court Justice position. In the real world, political parties separate everyone. Although I'm a Federalist, I ask those of you who are nationalists to put that aside. The law is what keeps our society civil, and it's important to have trust in those in charge of the law. The law is what keeps our society, with your votes, I vow to do my absolute best to uphold the rule of law and the United States Constitution and allow for proper procedures in the courtroom. As I told my fellow Federalists earlier, my extensive background in law originates from having watched the entirety of Better Call Saul and Suits. Thank you. Vote Sean Fagan for Supreme Court Justice.
Isaac Schaeferman.
How's everyone doing? All right. My name is Isaac Schaeferman. I'm staying at the Panhandle Cottage this week. How we doing, guys? Doing good? I stand before my fellow citizens today, not just as Supreme Court candidate, but also as a beacon of hope that I will use my experience in the legal field to pursue true justice and integrity. In terms of policies, I am a strict constructionist, and I believe that the Constitution should not change over time. And if you're doubting my ability, I do want you to know that I did pass the bar on the first time, so I didn't have to retake it over and over again. And if you're wondering if I will actually do it, before tonight, I was exercising true justice on the volleyball court.
Jake Dawson.
Good evening. For those who I haven't met, I'm Jake Dawson, or as my grandfather refers to me, Jake the Snake. That may sound like a negative connotation, but I like to think of it as striking at justice, and that's what I value, and that's what I'll give to you all. And I've taken classes in criminal justice, and I feel I could fill this position well. Thank you.
Hey!
All right, men, we have a couple more. Encourage you to be respectful. Generally remain silent. No applause till the end. Big Mike Trenton Nup.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Trenton Nupp, and I work at Jersey Mike's. That's why I'm called Big Mike. You know, I'm a shift leader there. I'm good at managing things like that. So, vote for Big Mike or take a hike.
Wow. Jackson with an X, Matheny, Jackson Matheny.
Hi everyone, I'm Jackson Matheny from Panhandle College, and I'm going for Supreme Court Justice. My goal is to ensure that all voices are heard and that every decision is made with fairness and integrity. I really do make an effort to hear everyone and assure your views will be listened to. I believe everyone's perspective should be taken into account when decision making, and I will act my job through the views of each one of you. I am dedicated to serving our program with honor and dedication and would be grateful for your support and vote. Thanks again. Remember, it's Jackson with an X.
Space Pants Simmerman, Benjamin Simmerman.
All right, everybody. How we doing? Let's get this started. What's wrong with the judicial system? We've lost our space pants. We've lost our freedom. We've lost our justice, and we've lost our space pants. All right. So it's time we pull our space pants up and we get going. I'm gonna say space. You're gonna say pants. Space. Pants. Space. Pants. Space. Pants. Yeah. Now I'm gonna say space pants, and you're gonna say intergalactic space pants. Space pants. Intergalactic space pants. Space pants. Intergalactic space pants. Now I'm gonna say vote, and you all are gonna say space pants. Vote. Space pants. Vote. Space pants. Yeah. Thank you all.
All right, at this time you may applaud and go as wild as you want. All right, we got a big night ahead of us. The primary